Right, good afternoon, students. Let us start. Okay, this is week 14, huh? Week 14 already, right? Correct me if I got it wrong. Huh? Week 14, and next week will be our presentation, week 15. Huh? And then let us confirm the date and time. Right, so supposedly we are going to start next week. Huh? Monday, no class. Right, next Monday, which is 4th, we have already deliberated it last Monday during week 12. Sorry, week 13. Last week was week 13, this week 14. So we have decided to do it on, instead of Monday, Monday 4th of July, no class. Then we are going to do it on Thursday instead. Right, is that okay for you? Can you, if you are not, cannot on Thursday next week, let me know. Now we decide on this. Next Thursday, fine, right? For all of you. Next Thursday, we have our class. Actually, presentation. Group presentation. This schedule I've already put on Moodle. Group presentation. Next Thursday, right? So one more thing is I asked, I want, because this is afternoon, right? I'm free actually in the morning on next Thursday. Are you free in the morning? If morning, then we don't have to stretch it until so late. We can start at 9 and finish around 1. And then we all go for lunch. 4 hours will do. 9, 10, 11, 12. Hey, sorry, 9 to 10. 9, 10, 11, 12, and 1 p.m. We can also do in the Monday morning actually. Either Monday morning or afternoon also can. If you can, then or Monday, sorry, not Monday, Thursday morning, next Thursday morning. Okay, never mind, we don't change. We stick with Thursday afternoon. Thursday afternoon. So we'll follow back the same schedule. Right, so please pay attention to this. Pay attention to this. So next Thursday, right, is going to be our project presentation. Project demo and presentation next Thursday. Right, on Teams. 7th of July. 7th of July. Sorry, there is noise. 7th of July. And then next Thursday. And then we are going to start at 2, not 3. 2 o'clock. So I have already arranged the schedule to follow this sequence. Right. So please let me know if any of your team, right, cannot present at the allocated time. We'll start at 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. right? And then finish at around, every team is going to be given 10 minutes, right? 10 minutes in total. So 7 minutes for demonstration, presentation. Don't have to use slide. I want you to focus on your app. If you don't want to present live, you can record video of around 7 minutes length, and then you play the video. There will be a short Q&A, question and answer, right? After the demo. Right, so altogether 10 minutes. Right, next Thursday afternoon, 2 o'clock we start, and then hopefully if everyone is punctual and then we finish on time, then we should be able to finish it before 6. So next Thursday class, right, each of you will actually be allocated 10 minutes to present. Right, please remember that. Prepare for that. So next Monday, week 15, Monday, we don't have class. All right, 4th of July, we don't have class. So all of you, if I got it right from you, that you say you are going to have your final year project, FYP submission and so on. So you are damn busy, very busy this week, I understand, as a student. So this week until next week is going to be very busy for you. So you can still have at least an additional 3 days from Monday. After you submitted your FYP, you still have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to prepare to do your project assignment and also the final. So actually the assignment 3 will be a fully completed app with dynamic feature. So let me go to that later. So I just want to confirm first the schedule, presentation schedule next Thursday, Monday no class. Huh? Monday don't come to Teams. Huh? In the afternoon. Huh? Thursday. Huh? We'll start at 2 o'clock Thursday. Right? Please pass the message to your friend. Huh? Because I'm afraid today attendance is not full. Right? Many of you are not here. So your team member, please tell them. Huh? So prepare for presentation next Thursday. Huh? Let me say again clearly. Next Thursday. Okay, so let me go to the assignment 3. Right, in assignment 3, basically the summary of assignment 3 is to map all your static feature. So far for assignment 2, right, most of your app feature are static. Static meaning you basically put a picture there, put a image there, or put something static. You put some dummy data. You maybe hard code some information data on the layout, on the UI, in the activity code. Assignment 3 is as much as possible make the dynamic feature that is supposed to be achieved in that specific screen. I understand that not all feature is possible because you need certain backend that support your client to display information, accurate information. So you can actually dummy out. You can do mock-up. As I mentioned last week, I had a demo using retrofit. And also some sample code for Volley. You can use retrofit or any other networking library to connect to a mock API, REST API. REST API meaning JSON. You can create a JSON on the server side yourself, and then you can mock it up. As long as it works, right, dynamically. Even though the data, the information is not real time, it's not the actual value, actual data, but as long as you can mock up, right, and then you can make your app dynamic. The client actually interact with a backend database. It can be a local database. It can be also a remote API that you connect with. Then it works. That is the purpose, the target, the goal of assignment 3. As many as you can. Some screen maybe you cannot achieve it. You just leave it as a static screen. So, but I encourage you to try your best. For example, history, check-in history list, right? You shouldn't leave it as a static card view, right? You should do it using a recycler view that actually read the data from a database. The database can be a room database. It can be a remote API that feed you the JSON, right? So you display on a recycler view, for example. And then the QR code scan, you should bring up the camera. You should have an API that actually open up the camera to scan and then receive a string from the QR code. So these things are the target that we hope to achieve, right, in this assignment 3. Focus on the core feature, these 3. Make sure at least these 3 feature works. QR code scan, history, chain history list, and profile page, profile screen. User profile, meaning user profile includes sign in, sign out. Sign in, log in, and sign out, right? Meaning register. This specific feature are the core of the entire app, and also the profile, right? Let's say you want to allow user to edit their for example, telephone number and other contact information and so on. For example, even that if they have a profile picture, you want to allow them to edit profile picture, upload the profile picture and things like that. If you can't achieve, you just put a dummy static image as their profile picture. But the sign in, sign up is important. Later today, I'm going to show you how to do this in another method. For example, if you don't want to mock up the server side for sign in, sign out, right? You can also do using Firebase. I will guide you on the simple Firebase feature that can do authentication, which is sign in and sign out, register and sign up. I have sample code, right? You can refer to that. And then I will guide you on the how to set up the project so that you can have Firebase at the back end. If you can access Firebase, Google from your place. I understand maybe China cannot. It's filtered by the government. You cannot access Google services. But in other place, right? If you can actually use Firebase as your back end. Some of you I know you use Firebase as your final year project back end, right? So it's quite convenient if you know how to use Firebase. Right, today, this class, I'm going to guide you. I'm not going to code line by line today. I'm going to pinpoint because I know most of you know how to do the basic logic and the layout and so on. Right, so I'm going to use some sample code to demo to you how to set up your project to link to Firebase, and then some code API that is by Firebase that you need to add to your code in order for your project to access Firebase. There are two that will help you to do your project very handily. One is authentication on Firebase, the feature, and also one is the real-time database, real-time DB. I encourage you, if you need a server side that you don't have time to develop, you can use Firebase real-time database and also the authentication. Later, we are coming to that. So just achieve what we target for assignment 3. Let the app be functional with backend. That is a target. And then final report. Then you can after the presentation, I'll give you a few days. You can submit the final report on either week 14, week 15 next week. Week 15 after the presentation, if you have done so, or the next Monday or Tuesday. So let us go to the calendar. Right, calendar here. So today is week 14. Week 14, Monday. This week. Next week, week 15, Monday, no class. Right? We are going to do it live on Thursday, 7th of July. 7月7号 双七. Afternoon, we start at 2. Right? After the presentation on the 7th, you can submit the report, right? Either on the same day, if you finish it, report and also the code, right? Just tidy out the code, or you can submit on the next day or the week after, which is week 16, right? Try to submit earlier, not too late, because we need to mark and grade, right? Your assignment and also your final project, right? So the final project, the functionality should be quite the same as your assignment 3, should be quite the same. It shouldn't be something very different. The final version of your code, your project, should be your around the same as your assignment 3, but in final project, you need to submit with a report, right? Submit with a final report with a cover page, and also submit together with the presentation video. If you present live, you don't have to. If you present by recording, then you send me the link. You can upload your video to OneDrive, right? And then put your video on OneDrive and then submit the link to your video. So that is also part of the assessment for final. Final project includes report, the code, right? Which is similar, right? Should be similar to assignment 3, the last one, and also the presentation demo. That demo, you do it live, I record. I record. If you don't do it live, you have a recording, then you can submit the link to your recording. But still, I would like you to present on the day, because I need to have a Q&A with you, right? That is the purpose of the presentation. So that would be what we are going to achieve in the coming weeks. Today, week 14, week 15, right? 7. And after that, I'll give you a few days to finalize your report and then done your code properly, clean up, and then you can submit on Friday, Saturday, or maybe the week after, which is either shouldn't be too late, right? Around Monday or Tuesday. After presentation on the 7th, could be Monday or Tuesday. Should be Tuesday. I give you until Tuesday. You can submit by Tuesday. 11 is a public holiday in Malaysia. Again, but we don't have class already. Our class has finished by week 11, the study week. So by Tuesday, because after that, you need time to prepare for your final exam. This subject doesn't have final exam. That's why we want to settle it as soon as we can. We still have about 2 weeks to settle it, right? Including the presentation next week. So we're going to complete this subject by 12. Hopefully, everyone. By 12, we wrap up, you submit, and then you are free. You are completely free from this subject, and then you can move on to your other subject, prepare for your final exam, right? Our target, 12th of July. Please mark your calendar. By 12th of July, settle it. Submit all the necessary artifacts, including the report, including the video link if you have, and then including the source code, the final version of the source code done properly, clean up the APK, and then you submit the source code. So it's on the 12th. So let me move to the, let me go to the final report document. Just remind one more time, in case some of you miss it. Okay, let me go to the Moodle. our subject page. Right, so the Moodle subject page, assignment 3. Right, by next week, Thursday presentation, please submit a copy. This one, you just need to submit your project code. Project code, meaning like assignment 2, you zip it and then submit here. So this one, I set the deadline to be next Thursday, 7th of July. By the time you should have completed your app. Just submit the source code, not the APK. You don't have to submit APK here. Don't have to submit also the presentation slides or presentation video and so on. No need. Just the project code. Project code. And then later, a few days later, write the report. Final report. I've given you the template, the format for the final report. Right? Format for the final report. Which I'll show you later. Where is it? With a cover page to show your team members name, ID, and so on the report, and also the Android project code. Right? If you have the video, right, recording, then also submit together with a link. You just put inside the document README, put the OneDrive link that you upload your video. That video, if you have recording, if you don't have, it's fine. Right? I'll actually watch it on your live presentation next Thursday. I'll do recording. So, but if you have it, just give me a copy of it. Right? So this is final project. This one, I think tentatively we can set it to be, okay, let us confirm. Confirm. Let me set it to be the last submission day will be on the 12th. Tuesday. And then let us make it 12 at night, midnight. The end of the day. The last minute of the day. So roughly so, 12th of July, which is a Tuesday, right? So let me set it to be 12th of July. So I'm very understanding, right? I know you need time. So I give you more time to do your report properly. And also just in case in the presentation, I have some comment after your presentation, you can tidy up your project. You can just modify a bit, enhance it further. A few days later on the 12th, we submit. You submit. Okay, due date. Let me put it as the last hour of the day, which is 23:59. 59. Right? The end of the day. I give you until the end of the day. After that, I'll be able to mark. So we have done many times the submission on Moodle. So if your file is too large, don't submit the entire folder to Moodle. You submit the link. You just upload your project to OneDrive and then submit the link. Then I will download from your OneDrive. Right? So that is the submission for your final project with the report and also the test case. That day I give you the test case template. Okay, so this is your assignment. Okay, wait, this one. Oh, okay, this one I need to set equally. If you have any doubt, please just ask me. Please ask me. Right, you ask me now or later. If you are not sure, you can still message me. Right, so I think it's quite logical for us to complete it by week 16, study week before your final. Don't bring it to the final week because when you are in the exam, you are busy with other subject. So this subject, hopefully we settle it by week 15. Right, we don't, sorry, week 16. Week 16, don't bring it to week 17, which is final. Right, we settle it by week 16. And next week, week 15, we do the demo and the presentation. Okay, for the project schedule, we are not going to change anything. The schedule, you just follow this. Right, the presentation is on the Thursday, next Thursday, 7th, 2 p.m., starting from 2 p.m. And each team has about 10 minutes allocated. If the team is not present at that time, I'll ask the next team to continue. Right, we don't have time to wait. So some of you maybe will come in already earlier. So if other teams are not there, maybe you will be brought forward slightly earlier. Right, so if the team before you didn't come, and then maybe we'll start a bit earlier for your team. And then the presentation, the so-called the project report right here. Here, project report format is here. Just refer to this under assignment and project report. And also the testing template, mobile testing template, the sample and the template file. So your project report should have this, right? You can copy and paste this into your report if you want, but I think it's no need. You just keep it as a separate Excel file. You do it inside the Excel file and submit the Excel file together with your report, which is Word, Microsoft Word, and then you can do it into a PDF. Right after you have done all the content, and then you make it into a PDF to submit. Right? Remember when you submit, in order to ease my task, always remember to put for the any file, right? Not only the report, not only the template file, this, and also not only and also the source code that you submit to Moodle, right? Please always let me go to that. Please always at least file name, rename it to something that rename it to something that reflect your team, so that I can recognize, I can identify it easily. Okay, let me open the notepad. I use the notepad to explain. Right, when you name your project source code, right, the folder and also the file name, the PDF, or maybe the video file or any file before you upload, so please rename it to at least an ID, right? So maybe your ID is this, use a team member, one of the team leader ID will do. I know who are in the team because in the cover page I can see the team, I can see who is with who. You don't have to write a very long name of all the ID and all the name, so at least you give an ID and also the name if possible. Then let's say example, so your name, the team leader name, right? If it is a report, you can put final report .pdf or .docx word file, word file. Okay, so if it is a project, you don't have to follow very strict naming, but at least you show me your name and ID. Then I don't mix up. I have to open up every file to check whose one is that, right? So at least give me an ID and name. And then if it is code or it is a report, right? For example, just name it accordingly, right? So that easier for me. There are so many teams there, so many submission. Right, so I think before we go into the actual class, so let me summarize again what I mentioned just now. On the 4th of July, no class. Monday, no class. Afternoon, we don't have to have class. We have a live presentation, demo, right, on Thursday, 2 p.m. to about 6 p.m. We start earlier because there are so many teams. We cannot fit within the 3 hours. So we have to extend for 1 hour. 7, and then on the week after, the Tuesday, the deadline, this is the last day, you can submit earlier. Final report submission, and also the test case, and Excel submission, and also your final code. Assignment 3 is to be here, the demo and assignment 3 submission. Only the code, completed code with backend, with dynamic feature. Put in some README if you need me to set up the certain thing so that it can run, right? Your backend. If you have backend code, you have backend running, right? Let's say you have a database, you have a server side running, accessible through a public URL, public IP address. Then set it up properly, so that when I run your app, your mobile site, your client side can actually use it, right? The app can actually interact with the server backend, right? So only the code, only the codes, right? Don't submit the APK. I can compile, but at least add in some README if your system, right, your app needs to be set up in order for it to run properly. There is assignment 3. right? So find once you do this, I think for the final version, it will be quite similar to this one, right? You just submit the final code. Of course, if you want to add in the README, it's fine. Or at least tell me how to say, how to run it. If you develop yourself the backend, you have a system, PHP, C#, Java, server side, then you submit also the server side together. Of course, is to set up, to run it, needs effort, right? So at least if it is possible, you provide some README, right? Or you have a public API, meaning I can directly access the public API through a URL. Then that will be good for your server side. Okay, but I don't expect you to achieve this. You can actually achieve it using mock API or Firebase also, Firebase. So these are our target for the coming week, week 15, week 16. Okay, let's start our class today. Any question so far? Any question? Today is the last week before presentation. So if you have any doubt, please ask. Any question? All right, if you have no question, then you can go to Moodle. You can go to Moodle to download some starter code. Today, I'm not going to ask you to code 100% every day from scratch because it's a lot of work, a lot of time. The most important, I don't think you cannot do. It's more important is how to set up your, if you don't know, many of you, I think you know already. But I do need to teach so that some of you who don't know, then you can still apply Firebase, week 14 Firebase. There are two aspects that I'm going to do. First thing is you can download the authentication. Okay, I'll give you the starter code first. So let me give you the starter code. I prepared the starter code actually for you to use. Meaning the code is complete, right? It's complete. I'll highlight later. I teach. Just need to attend the presentation time. Pijo, presentation. I'm not strict, but I encourage you to be present there to listen to your friend's presentation. If you have something else to do, then you just come during your time. But bear in mind, time sometimes it's a bit hard to control with so many teams. So you can actually be a bit late or a bit earlier. So if you estimate a bit, like let's say you are supposed to start at 3. Please be there by 2:50, 2:50 or maybe 2:55. Then you complete it by maybe 3 something. So maybe you cannot allocate such a short, very short 10 minutes only. Because in case we delay, right? Let's say you start at 3. By the time you log in at 3, it's not done yet. Some other teams are doing. So you have to wait a while, right? Maybe some other teams finish earlier. Then maybe you can start a bit earlier if you come in earlier. The whole day, not so bad, not whole day, actually the whole afternoon. I'm the one that have to be present the whole afternoon, not you, right? So I won't be tracking your attendance. I'll ask you, I'll have the attendance on Teams, but I won't track like how many minutes you are in the meeting, right? I wouldn't go and track you how many minutes you come in, how many minutes you sign off, right? So I'm lenient on that. Just please come everyone. Your team members better present to be present, right? To be present, not to be like the whole team of 3, only one person come and join. No, better to have everyone there. Only I only ask 10 minutes from you, right? Only 10 minutes. Okay, so let's start. Okay, let me give you some of this starter code. I think all of you know how to do. Many of you know how to do, not all of you, but I do need to complete it so that all of you have some idea. Some of you who are not sure, you also know how to do. That is to work with a Firebase backend. This is on the server side, Firebase. Those of you who use Firebase as your FIP, mobile app development, that would be quite easy. But I do think that some of you might want to use this as the backend for your entire app assignment 3. If you haven't done your assignment 3 completed yet the system, right? This could be one option that you can consider. I'll let you know how to do it, right? How to do it. Okay, let me upload. Okay, this one, give me a while, a few minutes. Let me say it out first. Let me set up first. So I will I will upload the code there. You can actually get the code also from Moodle. I uploaded them there already. Okay, first of all, we'll do the authentication. Authentication. Okay, authentication means sign in, sign up. Sign up means register. You need a server side, unless you do it locally. You can do it totally locally for sign in and sign up. It's fine for me, right? As long as it works, the logic, the program logic works. You have a few options like room, database, or SQLite. Sign in, sign up. You can even use any storage, file storage, if you know how to write. Like for example, shared preference. Shared preferences. I didn't teach in class because I think we don't have time to fit in so many topics. So shared preferences is actually key value pay, but they are not actually relational. So you cannot arrange them in a table form. You have to process file, shared preference, key value. So most likely, most of you will do a remote database, remote database that actually pass data to you using JSON, JSON file. So remote API. So you can implement your own remote API, for example, PHP, MySQL. You can use Node.js with maybe example, Node.js with, for example, with MongoDB. For example, these are some of the options, right? So if you have other option, you can do a cloud server side, right? And Firebase, you can use Firebase and so on and so on. Or you mock up the API yourself. You just mock up some static JSON file, you mock up, and then you feed the JSON file to the client. The client will consume the mockup. But you do need to make sure it can work for CRUD. That's why that day I recommend to you one online free mockup API that you can use. You can create a few resource there. Resource means table. You can, let's say you want to work with a few table, you can register using your email, Google Mail, and then you can use that API for free. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about this one. Okay, let us open that project, the project that I sent you just now on authentication. Authentication, let me open up this one. This file, Firebase authentication. You can download from Moodle or you can download from the chat. Right, you can download from the chat. The chat there, Firebase authentication. The zip file you unzip, right? You can actually get the source code. We're not going to code line by line today because it takes a lot of time and most of them are not so critical. You know how to do. So I'll just highlight which part of the code that will actually be the one that for sign up and also sign in. Okay, let me go to the project. Right. Okay, this is the project that I sent you. Okay, let us not to look at the source code yet. The source code. For you to set up your server side, let's say this is a code that you have developed. It's a completed code. It can actually work. Right, the server side, the code for the client. There are a few screens for you to sign in, to log in, right? This is the home screen, the main activity screen. And then sign up. Sign up is register. Log in is to log in, and then update password, forgot password. You can refer to this project to do your project. Actually, you can adopt some of these function to your project. You just want to understand it. Basically, later I'll explain this. But most important thing is to link this project to your Firebase. So how to do Firebase? You need to register for Firebase and has an account. Right? Let me go to the Firebase account that I have. Firebase is a console. So normally, right, you need a server side, you need to log in. So you have to register a Firebase account using your Gmail, right? For example, I have my Gmail, I register, I log in, right? So normally Firebase, they'll come to this page. I have a few projects already. These are just server-side projects. You can create multiple projects on Firebase for free, but for the free tier, right? Once you do a lot, you use a lot of traffic. Try not to expose your Firebase, the project ID to someone. They can actually make use of it to actually use it, to use your server, right? And then create traffic to your server. Then you have to pay, right? These are just for you to test, for your project. So okay, add project. For example, you can add project from here, or you can later I show you another way of linking the project to your Firebase, to your Firebase, linking your Firebase to your Android. So first thing is, let's say today we want to create an authentication, and also we want to do some CRUD functioning, CRUD and also authentication. Okay, first thing we do authentication. We can start a project here, right? You can go to console. Console, when after you log into Firebase, right? So the console, you log on to this https console.firebase.google.com. If this is new to you, I am talking about if you don't know yet, right? If you know already, I think this lecture is pretty much not so relevant to you. You know already how to do it, right? So basically, I'm just letting those who are not sure, never do it before. Okay, we can start a new project. Right, so let's say you want to start a new project, just name it according to your project. Please make it informative, because once you do many, so you might mix up with which project that you are doing. So I can call this project, for example, I can give it a name, right? The name here. Today I'm talking about, later I'm going to try to do authentication and CRUD, just to demo lah. So give a unique name to your project. And then you create your project on your console, continue. Enable, this one doesn't matter. You enable or disable, doesn't matter. You allow Google Analytics to collect data on your Firebase transaction. Continue. Right, let's say it's only one. Let's say your analytics, right? The one that you link to your project, you just select. So Firebase will create a new project, meaning a new instance that you can use for your server side. So you don't have to do development yourself. So Firebase itself will create the database. You can create database, you can create an authentication server-side feature. You don't have to code. You don't have to write code for authentication and so on. Okay, project is ready. Okay, on the server side, this is the server side. So how to link the server side to your front end? Let's say the mobile apps is already done. Or you start a new project, either way, doesn't matter. Right, so in this case, right, you go to your mobile project. Each mobile project you should have let me use this share screen. Each mobile project you should have a namespace, a package name, which is unique. It should be unique. Try not to use a name for every project, same name for every project. A unique namespace. Normally this name, unique. Sometimes you use the template. So use the same com.example many times, but at least make sure this is unique. So you copy this, right, to your Firebase console. Here, you can actually link your Firebase backend to an Android app or iOS app or a website. Even website also can. You have a web application that you have a backend as of using Firebase database. So you can also link it to Unity and other Flutter and so on. We are going to do native. In this subject, we do native Android. So you can actually create, register. This is to register only. Register your app, meaning register the front end. Right? You can run multiple front end to the same backend. Right? So we just register this app. Let's say this is the project. You can open up this Firebase authentication example, the starter. This starter code doesn't have the Firebase link yet. That's why I show you how to link it up. Right, so you can download from the chat there. Okay, so now I want to register it. So I just put my namespace down. If it is not registered yet, right, you can actually register. You don't have to put a nickname, right? You want the nickname to be easier to recognize, you can also put it. So you just register. Right, you register this namespace to the project. Okay, this is very important now. So all the project identity, because now you register it to the server side, right? Server side must be able to recognize this app. There will be some ID assigned to this app. So they are all contained in a file called Google Services.json. It's a JSON file, the setting file. Setting file that let client and server side know each other identity. Basically, let your mobile app recognize the server side. Server side have an ID. The project has an ID. Just now I create the project. So all the identity of the project, the Firebase project is inside this JSON file. All right, download this JSON file to your local. You download. And then that JSON file, you need to put it into the folder, one of the folder of your project. Right, you can copy this, Google Services. All right, copy. Okay, let's say your project folder. Right, this is your project folder, right? You have to place it, go to the, not to in the Android view, you go to the project view. Project view. Under the app, put it here. This project, I don't set it up yet. So the Google Services.json is not here. So let us place it here. You go to this folder, right? This folder, right? Your project folder, app folder, paste the Google Services here. So after you registered the app, your namespace to the project, the package already registered, then download the configuration file. This is a server-side configuration file. You go to the folder app folder of your project, right? App folder, paste it here. This is one way. This is another way. This way is more general. This is another way that rely on the Android Studio to do it. Android Studio. Okay, this one. Later we do it the Android Studio way. We can also do that. All right, Google Services. Right, so once you do that, next, right, you need to pass some of this so-called the dependency. Dependency. You need Google GMS, Google Services class path, and then you need this Google Maven repository. These I think normally you have it already. Google repository, right? So this is on the project level. You need to, if you don't have, you just need to set up, right? For the sample project that I gave you already set up. You can go to the Android view, and then the project level, build.creator. Here. Once you set up the repository to include Google, then it's fine. It's fine. And then another one is dependency. This dependency, you need this because just now we include the Firebase analytics. Firebase analytics, so you should have Firebase analytics. But other services depend on what services you are going to use because Firebase has many different modules. So later on, you need to add the Firebase so-called the dependency. But no worry about that, right? So you just include this line to your project dependency. And also this one, apply plugin, Google Services. You need, later when you run, you need to, your emulator need to have enable Google Services, so that you can test it on your Android emulator. This one, you need to add this line. You need to add this line. These are just configuration. I think you follow the instruction, you should know. So for this sample project, if you go to the module level dependency, right, added already here. Basically, I add this authentication. I didn't add the analytics because that is not my main feature. If you want to add, also can. You want to add, you can add. You can add these two lines first. Right? This is called bomb, firebomb. So what is the difference? Okay, if you add firebomb here, let's say, because this current sample project, I'm going to just use the authentication feature of Firebase. So I come here. right? This Firebase bond. And then here, once you have the Firebase bond, you don't have to put the version number for all the module that you want to run. So this one not necessary anymore. Or I just comment out. Then I put in a version, the dependency without the version number. Like that. Right? So you can put as many as you want. Okay, this Firebase authentication is actually one of the module here. Let me go to the next. You continue to the console, right? This app is already registered. Once you see your app package name listed here under this project, right? You can add as many as you want. You can add another project to the same Firebase backend. You can have multiple different mobile app, different kinds of mobile app interacting with the same Firebase backend. So you can add as many as you want. You can have a website that interact, or you can have an iOS app also can. Okay, now there are many features, many services here. You see here on the left hand side. Authentication, app check, Firebase database, Firestore database, real-time database extension, and so on. Many, even machine learning. If you want to do some feature to make use of the server side, leverage on the server side machine learning engine, you can link to this one. But I never tried that before. I am going to only show you why it's important for our case, our assignment, assignment 3, and also the final project. So today, for this first hour, I'm going to do this project, authentication project. Let me sync first. Once you add the dependency, you sync. Okay, this project is on authentication, these 5 features, right? Forgot password, login, maintain, main activity, sign out, update, update password. So all these 5, you have to add this authentication module. Currently, your project is empty. So this is linked already, but not the feature. You need to add in a feature, set up the authentication module. Meaning there's a database to store user information at the back. So you need that server-side user table, user feature. Right, so you click on authentication and then you choose, right? You create one authentication feature on this server side. There are many signing methods. This afternoon we are going to just try this one. You can also add, like if you want to allow the user to sign in using Google login or using Facebook login. Right, these are the supported one. The server side even support Firebase, even support Yahoo, sign in using Yahoo, Twitter, Apple, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, and so on. Even GitHub username password. But the most conventional one is you store your own username password on the server side Firebase using this native provider. So let's try this one. Right, enable. Right, you just enable email password. So allows user to sign up. You read the documentation. It says that to sign up using email and password. Meaning the username is email, his email. Normally Gmail, Gmail, and then the password. So it's like normal way to do the server side. Just that you don't need to code. Firebase provide that storage for you. So email link, password, sign in. Okay, you can enable, you can disable, doesn't matter. Right? So no need. We don't do this. No need. So we don't do the email link. Do this. You just for the assignment is good enough. Right? As long as user can sign up and sign in using email password. So save. Right? Once set up, this sign-in provider is available for you to code. You need to code on the client side to link to this. So you want to add another method, you can always add. Right? Add another one. Maybe Gmail, you want to allow user to sign in using Gmail, you can enable. Right? So your project ID is this one, project name. Right? This is the one that is already specified. Okay, I forgot to show you. Just now I add in the Google services, right? This is a file, Google services.json. Right? So this file, JSON file, don't touch it. Don't edit this file. This file is generated by the server-side Firebase with the ID and so on. Unique ID and so on. This file, you must keep it safely. You compile together with your APK later. You'll be part of your APK. So that the APK has the information on the project, the Firebase. So the project name is this project ID that I created just now. Authentication and CRUD on the Firebase side. So all these you just leave it. Project number. This is auto-generated by Firebase. uniquely for your project only. And this is a package name. So this file, you just keep it inside the app folder, as I mentioned just now, right? So now on the server side, you whatever feature you want, you can say it out, right? Let's say we don't do this. Google sign-in, you need to set up also, the email, support email and so on, because this is talking about you are linking your server side to the third-party Google authentication, Google Mail authentication. So you need a web SDK and so on. Okay, so I'll skip this one. Right, let's just do the simple one for email and password. So this email password we enable, right? Enable this email password. Okay, the server side is done, right? So let's go to the client side. Client side. So we add in this implementation dependency to link, in order to link to this feature, sign-in method of authentication, right? We need this dependency. This dependency. If you want, you can add in this dependency, right? This dependency, right? And also, of course, this one not necessary actually. If you don't have, doesn't matter. And if you don't want to, you can do without this bomb. If you don't have this bomb, it means that you must put the version number of your dependency, right? If you don't want to put the version number, you just want to list out the dependency for the module, for example, then you can use this to collectively for it to be configured, right, across all the module. So you just put in BOM, Firebase BOM, right? Okay. So when using BOM, don't specify version in Firebase dependency as it is documented just now. Okay, so this is done. Okay, let's close this. Right, on the code side, coding. On the code, for example, login. Right, so the logic for the login is all the same. The difference is only you need to, if you want to link, okay, let's check whether our project is already linked to Firebase or not. How to check? Okay, you can go to tools. On the project, once you put in the Google services.json, this file, right? So supposedly it's linked already. All right, when you build, you link. Okay, here you can go to tools, Firebase. Under the menu, there's the tools, right? Go to tools, Firebase. Right? Let it load. This is a tool assistant, right, for Firebase inside Android Studio. It will help you to make it easier. Okay, just now we do it manual way. We go to console. We go to this project, project view, console here. We add the app here. Add an Android app to it. So when it is linked, supposedly the console, supposedly the tool assistant here, we are doing authentication. So you look for the services that you want to link to Firebase authentication, this one, right? This one, So this one, right? So supposedly, if you don't want to use the Firebase console, you can do it here also. The connection to the Firebase, you generate the Google services.json automatically inside that folder also, right? You can connect if you want. The app must be built when you connect like this. This is the second method, right? Second method. So you can build, and then you add the relevant SDK. SDK means dependency. You can do it from the tool also. Tools, Firebase Assistant, right, in Android Studio. It's the same. So you link from the client side to the server side. As long as you are connected to the internet, then you access the server side. You need to log in, of course, right? You need to log in to your Firebase. On your Android Studio, you must log into your Google Mail, right? And server side also same. You are using, if you want to create all your server side on the console using your email, right? You must use the same email as the one that you log in using your Android Studio, right? Then you can link to the same server side. Okay, now we are doing authentication, right? Authentication. So you can authenticate using Google, authenticate using Facebook, and so on. Let's say a custom authentication system, then just connect to the server side. But before it connects, it needs to build your app. right? So maybe we can ignore this one. You want to use this where it's actually done already just now, right? With the Google services.json. But if I show you also to connect through the tool, right? Tools assistant here, right? Already, is it already connected? It says then the app is already connected. Okay. Even though here I click again connect, but it's with the file there, it's already connected. And then here, let's say you want to check whether it's already with the dependency or not. So it will tell you what to add. Right? You need to add class path, Google services. You don't have to do this yourself. You can allow the tool to help you accept changes. Like just now, the Firebase authentication dependency. This one is actually this one on the dependency here. Build.creator. It's actually here. Right? The Google services class path, right? Already added. And also the build.creator here, dependency, this one. If you want to add again, I add again, I can let the tool to help me to add. I can do it here. Right? Okay, so you actually configure again. Right? You add in the dependency for me automatically into the build.creator. And it's at the right place. Okay, understand? From both sides. One is using the tools, Firebase assistant, and then you choose the module that you want. Like authentication is listed there. And then later the real-time database is also listed there. So later another project, we try the real-time database. Okay, done. Right, so you import the necessary dependency for you, right? You don't have to worry, right? You add in all this text, right? This script into the build.creator. Yeah, so, that's just how we added it already, manually. Manually. So it's linked, right? The project is linked. Now authentication is set up, right? Okay, so now we can, let's say this code is already done, right? We can actually run, and then we can check whether the app later we run. If we run this app, this app is complete app, can run one actually. So let me run, and then we try to sign up. See whether the sign up will appear here or not. Inside here, we can actually, you see this one, you can go to the setting. This project linked to this project, right? The Firebase project, this app. Then I can go to the setting, right? So if you have lost the Google JSON file, the Google Services JSON file, you can download again here. This is the SDK link to the SDK. So this Google Services.json file, if you lost it, you want to connect again, you want to get the same Google Services, you can download from here. Then you can put into your app folder. All the settings, you can rename the project name and so on and so forth. Right? This is on the server side. Okay, let's go to the authentication. We are doing authentication for current project, the module. Right? So currently we don't have a user, right? Because this is a new project, the authentication database doesn't have any user. You can manually add it here on the server side. It's the same like admin console. This is like admin console, user management admin console for you to add user, delete user, manage, edit user, and so on. But we are not going to do it from here. We are going to do it from the app side. Right? We are going to do this on the app. Right here. We are going to run the app from the server side. And then we create a new user from the client, from the client. This app, today we don't code. Later I show you what are the code involved. It's not difficult actually, not difficult. You can follow the same code for your assignment. Similar code, you just modify. Okay, this one we try to create a user later here. The user will be created and shown here. Right? Add user. So if you want to add a user yourself manually also can. Make sure it's a valid email, because all this email is going to be, Firebase will do the sending of the update password, update reset password, update password, email, and so on. They will be sent. So if you put an invalid email, then it cannot work, the update password and so on. Let's say you want to create an email that is valid, then you can create it here on the server side and put the password in. right? Can configure the password on the server side. But more importantly, we want to do it from the client side here. Log in and sign up code. Log in and sign up. Okay, done. Right, the app is going to run here. It's installing into the emulator. All right, so this is the main screen. Example, this one is the main activity actually. The main activity, right? The launcher. Main activity. This screen, main activity. So the one you see is main activity. Main activity. Log in. Main activity you can log in. But let's say we don't have a user first, right? We cannot log in. If you want to try to log in, write the code. The logic of the code will actually log you. You should write the code to actually call, right? When people click on the login, let me see here. The code for Firebase to connect to Firebase, you always, for authentication, you need to create a object, authentication object, Firebase authentication object, right? And then use that authentication object to get an instance to the server side. Because the project is linked, so all this will work, right? Get instance, and after that, you create a user. Get the current user and check whether the user is now or not, right? If now, you actually close the current activity, start the login activity. Else the user can log in. So you redirect the user to login activity. Let's say if the current user is not logged in, right? So this screen is actually before login. So all these are the standard code that you can refer to the documentation on Firebase. Actually, there are documentation to teach you how to do that. Right? This is on the documentation of Firebase to talk about authentication. Right? So they are actually document down like email password, right? Based authentication. If it is for Android, you can click on Android. Right? You can check how to do it. This is on how to do it. Sample code. Right? Follow this and just what I did. Right? Firebase authentication. I just put in the dependency, and then this is the code. Right? This code, if you follow, just follow the same like in this project, right here. Right? Private Firebase authentication. So it's actually documented here. Just follow the same way, and then you have to instantiate, get the instance, initialize the Firebase authentication. This one is done in the on create method, right? Firebase auth.get instance, right? So in here, Firebase, right? Authentication.get instance, right? In the on create method. So basically, I wouldn't go very line by line. Basically, this one all follow the documentation you can do. But this is a working prototype, so you can refer to this project. I put in sufficient command already for you to follow. You just know which part that you need to code. If you want to use Firebase authentication, similar step. But first, you must set up your project, your client side to the server side first. Okay, let's try. Let's try. Okay, we want to sign up first. We don't have any account, right? We don't have any user account here. Let us create the user account using the client side. Sign up, which is this activity, the sign up activity. The sign up activity, the layout, sign up activity, right? This activity, So we are going to sign up. So I'm going to just use my email. Example, I use my email. And then the password, I use 123456. Remember that? Later I use this to log in. 123456. 123456. This is sign up, right? So the sign up code is here. You can see, right? Sign up code. For sign up, I also need to create a authentication object. You can refer to the same project. Is there? Authentication object. I declare, and then after that, I create, initialize it. And after that, when people click the button, in this case, I'm signing up, not sign in. Sign here on the screen. I have two buttons. One is sign up, one is sign in. Sign in is just lead me to another login screen. Sign up. I'm talking about sign up now. So that sign up button, when click, set on click listener, right? So what you do is you just get the value of the email and password entered into the text box, the edit text, and then do a bit of checking. Validate whether they are empty or not. User did enter something or not. Is it a valid email? Is it a valid password or something like that? You can do your checking here. But in this case, we just do a simple checking whether it's empty or not. Right? If it is not empty, then we do the sign up. Basically, this is an API function for authentication. The documentation for this API function, create user with email and password. Because just now in the server side, here, signing method, I choose this email and password. So because this, I call this function. Using the authentication object and then create user with email and password and passing the email and password value right into this function. So all these are communication with the server side. That's why we need to do asynchronous programming. Asynchronous meaning you need to wait for the response from the server. It's not direct, it's not instant. The response is not instantly after you call the method straight away. So you need to wait for the server response. So that is, you need to implement a listener. So this is a listener that is tied to this authentication object called add on complete listener. Once the listener wait for the response and once receive a response, right? So we implement some callback method. If the response is complete, on complete, this is a callback, right? Then you check whether the task, you pass back a task object, right? Authentication result, the task for authentication result. And then if it is successful, so you can call the is successful method to check whether this task return true or not. If it is returned true, then okay, good, successful. So you just redirect the user to the sign in page. You show some message and then redirect the user from sign up activity to the login, the screen, the main screen. Else, you show a text to show the user that registration failed or something like that. So the logic is quite normal for any login, logout project flow, but just that we are using this API. Instead of using your own API, you use the Firebase API. In this case, you create user. Let us see whether it works or not. Right now, this password I sign up. Whether this function, I'm calling this function actually. Sign up. All right. Work. Right. Successfully registered. So this callback on complete. Successfully registered is shown. This one. So successfully registered. So it redirects me from the sign up activity to the main activity. And this main activity is after sign in is successful, because in the main activity, I have a checking whether the user is available or not. I check. If the current user is already authenticated, like just now I sign up, actually I authenticate automatically. So this one will return true. Authenticate get current user API function will return a current user to me. So this is not now. If it is now, it will redirect me back to the login screen. But it is not. That's why I will remain on the main activity. It will show me already login. So I'm here. So you can see the screen here. I'm inside. Right? So let's go to the server side. Refresh. Right? User is created. You see, refresh. Right? This user Simon Lau SLBY99 is my email, valid email, and the password is already encrypted. But I know it's 1 2 3 4 5 6. Right? So let me try to log in. I log out and log in again on the client side. See whether this password is correct or not. I can do another function. I log out. Right? So now I want to log in. Log in. My username, right? This one. I try to log in using this, and password. I simply type anything. 1 2 3. Right? It doesn't work. Right? Login fail. Login fail. 4 5 6. Right? And now just now I register using 456. Log in. Right? Successful. Huh? Okay. So it means that the client and server are linked already and it works. Huh? Registration works and login also works. Login just now, the login screen. Just now here, the login and log out. This is the login screen, right? The login screen. So the login screen is this one. Login screen, right? Login screen, and then the login function. I get an authentication object. The login function, basically I initialize the login object. And then after that, the user type in username, password, login. So this login button is clicked. Again, we add a listener to the button, right? Set on click listener. And then we try to capture the username password entered on the UI, on the edit text. And after that, we check, right, whether it's signed in or not. So we call another API. Just now for sign up is this API. Create user. For signing, another API. This one you can refer to documentation. Sign in with email and password. And then passing the parameters, the value of the email, the value of the password, and then add a on-complete listener to it. So once the server side authenticate, right, you pass back, right, you return with a response, right, then you receive that response on the callback, on the callback under this on-complete listener. You just follow the documentation. This is the standard way. Basically, you have to follow documentation of Firebase to code, right? And then here, this callback method is called onComplete, right? You pass back a task object again. So based on that task object, if it is successful, task.successful will return true. So if it return true, you do whatever logic you want. Or in this case, you log in. So successfully log in, you just redirect the user to the main activity here. Log in and go from login activity to main activity. Right, you do the intent, go from one screen to the other. Else, you can print a message saying that login failed, but you don't redirect, right? Things like that. Basically, it depends on the API function that you call. So this app is working now. If you connect it correctly. Of course, you cannot test using my server side unless I give you the google.json file. Right, google.json you can get again from the project setting here. This file, Google services JSON file, right? So you need to put this google.json file into your project folder under app. You go to the project view here, this file, to connect the app to the server side. So the same process for any kinds of other services also, but this is only for authentication. I'm setting up this project for authentication, right? Let me just show you one more time before we go for the short break. Let's say I want to register another user. I sign up, right? Another email, right? I use shorter password. I don't do validation here. You can actually add in your validation for your project. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sign up. Or too short. There's a checking. I think in the code there's a checking 5, 6. Okay, 6 character, 6 character. So go to the server side, refresh. 2 users are added. 2 users are added now. So this user is also registered. So I can now test by logging in using that user logout. Right, logging in. Right, and password is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Right, successful. Yes. I can also update password. Right, let's say just now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, I want to change it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not change, because I need to have more. 7. Okay, new password now. If I sign out, now I need to log in using the new password. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is no more the password, right? 7. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. Right, can log in. So all these are controlled entirely by Firebase. Huh? So the server side. So the client side is working with the server side using the API, not API function here. So you can refer to the documentation on Firebase, documentation, and this case, authentication. Huh? And that specific use case is using username, password, email, and password. Huh? So you refer to the code that use email, password, and add in the dependency. Huh? Yeah, the function that just now register user is this one. Actually, the code is here, standard code. You just need to change the program logic. When you log in, what do you want to do? You add in your program logic. But the checking is standard. Right? Whether you want to use Kotlin or Java. Huh? So I'll create user with email, password here. And then just now, the sign in. This is the sign in. Right? The login function. And also this is the checking whether the user is already signed in or not. Right? You check whether the current user is now or not. This one is to check whether the user is signing or not. Normally we do it on the main activity, the home screen. Right? If they sign in already, then we show it the signing page. If not, then we ask the user to log in again. Right? So this is how we do it. So we are not going to do code by code, line by line today. I just show you the steps. You can refer to the sample code if you want to do this, to implement your backend using Firebase. This is only for authentication. Authentication. Authentication is under this build authentication. So we are going to have a short break. After this, we are going to talk about real-time database. We can create a so-called a file database. This is not relational. It's nothing to do related, nothing the same as MySQL or SQL Server, but this is more on a JSON, right? JSON format database. It's a like no SQL database. How we can create the database, right? So before we go for the short break, the authentication, then done. You know how to do already. Then we are going to look at another project. Another project with the CRUD function, CRUD function. And also the login also. Login, we are not going to do it again. Login is similar to the previous project, similar. Just now I separate it out. So the authentication we did separately. But this one got both authentication and also the CRUD function, meaning database function. So this project you can also get from the chat. I just now I pass you the starter code. Starter code meaning it's not linked yet. There is no Google services.json. Right? Okay, So I'm going to explain how to do that using Firebase for this second project after the short break. Right, let me close this one. The second project, Firebase CRUD. Firebase CRUD. So this project, we are going to link it to a database. I'm going to show you how to use the real-time database. But before we go for the short break, we can create the database first. So you choose a location for you to place your database, right? Your real-time database. This is real-time database. So the server, right? So you want to place it in 3 different time zones. One is in US, one is in Belgium, one is in Singapore. So we are nearest to Singapore in Asia. So we use the Singapore. So next. So for this database, when we create, we start in test mode first. So we have to test it. We just want to test it, make sure it works, right? For prototyping. So the security rule will be valid for 30 days. I think good enough for you, right? So let's just create it in test mode. Here, create database, choose Singapore, and then next, test mode, right? Enable. So the database instance will be created in the server side. Right, this is your database. It's an empty database. So we want to make sure this database is accessible by openly. If you want to make it private, you need authentication. Right, so we have to set the rules. Right, currently this database read and write will be valid for 1 month until the next month. Today is 27th of June, so it will be valid until next month. Read and write. You can read database, read and write. But if you want to make it available all the time, right, you can make it private, public. Let's make it public first, right? So for our purpose. But make sure if public, make sure this database later no one actually link to this database and use it. So let's say I make it public, I publish. Oh, there's an error here. There's a comma. Okay, sorry. Let me go back to the previous one. Comma, comma. Okay, let me make this to be public. How you can make it public here? Public. Rule, right? Publish. Okay, how come? Line 3. Okay, this command, I think we remove it. Okay. Okay, what happened? Okay, publish. What's wrong with the syntax? Public. Okay, never mind. Let's not try not to change it for now. Okay, use this. Use this rule. Right, it will be valid for 1 month. The test account. Okay, later we'll try to insert data and retrieve data from this database. Okay, so we are going to link our app again to this. Already linked, right? And not yet. Sorry, this is another app. So we are going to link again. The set different app. These are different mobile app to that database. Okay, so let's have a short break before we carry on. All right, so this is another project. Just now I send you the two files, right? Two project file here. We are going to run using the another project code, Firebase CRUD. Right, Firebase CRUD. Right, you can download this Firebase CRUD, and then we are going to use that to test, right? The linking to this real-time database at the back, right? Of the same project. We are going to use the same project. So you can see that multiple apps can be linked to the same project. Yeah. So let's have a short break, 5 minutes break. After that, we continue, right? See you later. Right, students, let's continue. Huh? I don't want to hold you back late. Huh? So let's finish it fast. Sorry. Right, just now before the break, huh? We have done the project to authenticate using Firebase. Okay, now we are going to go a bit further, right? So the authentication side, the console. Let's go and see the console. Right, this project just now, authentication and CRUD. So for you, you have to create your own project in your Firebase server. So we have connected to this project just now. Right, so now we are running another project. Let's say this is another project. The project is called this. This is the project package. Right, project package name. One way we can add is we just copy this. We go to the console side. We add a new project. Choose Firebase, Android. Choose Android and put in the package, and then we can add. Let's do another way. Using Android Studio. Right, Android Studio, I mentioned just now, we can use the tools, Firebase. Right, so let's use this to add now. Add this to add. Okay, we can add the authentication, tools, Firebase, authentication. This is another app, so we add again. Connect to Firebase. So we are going to use the same username password. Just now we have registered, right, to user. So use the same username password for this app. So we connect it. So every time you use the tool to connect, right, you actually build your project first, right? Once it built, only you connect to the server side. Right, so while it's compiling, let's check the documentation. Documentation, Firebase. This is real-time database. We are going to use, we have already created before the break, a real-time database. Real-time database. The database is already created. You can edit this database, you can delete and so on. So this database, right, you can add key and value. So this is JSON, something like JSON, key value pay database. It's a file database, right? So we are not going to add node. This is called node into the tree, into the database tree here. We are going to add it from the client, from the mobile app. Right, so let's see whether it's connected already or not. Okay, how come this one? There is some error, sorry. Okay, JSON file is missing. Okay, so I think this tool doesn't help, right, to connect. So let us just create it from the server right here. So let's go to the project overview. I'm going to add register using the console. I'm going to do it from the console side. Right, this is the package. This is the package. Right, package name. Right, package name. And then we are going to register it through the console here. So add the Android. I think because the project I didn't clean up totally. So inside that project, I think should have some maybe some metadata of the registered app previously. So we register it manually from here. If you do with a new project, completely new project, or project haven't been connected before to Firebase, you should be able to use the tool, the assistant, the Firebase assistant to connect. So here, register. right? So once registered, download this Google services.json like just now, right? I'm going to get it from here, right? So I add this google.json into the project. I go to the project view. Here, project view. Under the app folder, I paste, right? Paste it into the app folder here. So this is the Google services.json that you need to actually get it from your server side. So server side. So with the project ID and so on, right? Project ID and so on set up, right? So add it into your app folder. So let's go back to the Android here. So dependency, let's check the dependency. For Firebase database, real-time database, right? We need to add this. Right, I think this is a duplicated version, so we can ignore this two. It's actually this one. This one. Right, and also authentication. So we are going to do two. For this case, for this app, there are two modules that we are going to connect to. Right, one is the, okay, let me comment out this one. Right, once you use BOM, right, you don't have to have the version number. Something like that. So we are going to add these two modules to our project. One is authentication, Firebase authentication, which is this one. This is done already. Let me just, right? One is authentication. Another one is the database SDK. So I've added that project, this project. This is a new project. So I do two projects linked to the same project, two apps linked to the same project, two Android app, right? So for this Android app, if I want to set the setting here, right? So this is the Google services.json. Now I have two services in this Firebase server. One is authentication, right? Another one is real-time database, right? That's why in my project, I'm going to link to that too. One is the authentication, so the dependency, and also one is the real-time database, which is this library, com.google Firebase database, these two. We are going to add these two dependency. Okay, let us sync. All right, done. So supposedly it can work already, right? So let me run this app and we test. Only later I'll talk about the code, the coding. Right? This is a fully functional CRUD app. CRUD meaning create, read, update, delete. Right? It can perform that. So the code inside there, so we can do the CRUD. So run. Okay, see whether we can do the CRUD or not, to the server side. It's already linked, right? It's already linked with the Google services file added to the app. This file. So it's already linked to the server side. All right. Okay, done. So you see, let's check whether the same database sign in, log in can work or not on this app, these two account, as already registered. I'm going to log in using that. So in the app, I'm going to log in. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. right? Login successful, right? It works, huh? It works, right? So the screen, the app, main activity, this is the main activity, right? After login, huh? After login. So this app, you can explore yourself. I'm not going to go into detail, but we just do the add new course. This is an app, cost management app, right? There is a cost model, model that we are going to add cost. Cost meaning a program, a subject, right? Cost management. This is a model, right? So this model have some cost name, price, right? And then description, and then some website link, and also the ID, right? So I'm going to add one new cost into the database, right? Let's say I can, So the add function is here, add cost activity. Later, from here you'll see how to do. So for database, you need to actually declare a database object, right? Class object, Firebase database, and also get a reference to the database. Reference means a pointer to this database. So just now authentication is Firebase authentication, right? Inside here, Firebase authentication, right? Firebase auth, right? But for database, Firebase database, real-time database, we want to insert some data into here, right? The real-time database. Then the class that is involved is actually Firebase database. And also we want to get a reference to this database. It's called database reference. So let's see how it works. Okay, let me add a new database record, right? Course name, for example, SWE401. Let's say, so the price 5,000, let's say, enter course suited for year 3 students, a description. Okay, there is no image. Maybe we can link to a logo or something, but let's say I just put a dummy, dummy, course link. Let's say this is the website for the course. Let's say SWE401. Let's say a link, right? A website link, and then this course description. This is a dummy record, right? Let me add the cost. Right, the cost is added. You see, $5,000. If you click on it, right, the detail, you can edit. You can edit. All right. So where is the data? The data is already added to the server here. Courses, right? SWE401. Right. It's currently the data just now, the one that I key in. Right. It's coded. It's actually added to the server side using code, using Java code. I can add another course. So you see the structure. So for the same parent courses, right, our data model, we can add multiple records of courses. Instance. So it uses actually a tree structure. These are actually can be exported as a JSON file. Key and value, key and value, key and value. Key represent the property and the value of the property. So let's say I add another record now. Right, I can delete. Of course, this code also has delete function, update function, and so on. Okay, let me add another one. Add another one. SWE402, let's say. So the price is 9,000, let's say. The course suited for year 3 students. And then the course link, right? Just any dummy link. 402.org. Right, let's say these are the website link. Right, description. Okay, let me add. Right, so 2 records are there. So on the database side, right, they are listed as 2. Right, SWE401, SWE402, the second record. Each of them have a set of property that you insert into the database, right, based on what I enter into the from the mobile app. Right, of course, you can have other clients, for example, a website that can also enter into the same database. So this is how you can use database, real-time database on Firebase to keep your data remotely, permanently inside your remote database. This one, you don't have to develop a server side, but you can use this to simulate a database on the server side. So how do we code it? All right, so let's look at the code a bit. So just now I said declare these two variables. And then we have to, okay, all this code, I think it's just find view by ID. The most important part is actually when you click the button, add cost button, what is most important is actually here, right? We need something called add value event listener. This is to add value into database. So based on using the reference here, you see, you have database and also references. We want to instantiate them, initialize them, right? Firebase standard code to initialize a real-time database, get the instance, and then use this Firebase database to get the reference, right? So you want to create a node, a node is like a new table. In this case, it's a table, a new reference to the database. And this entity, we call it entity. Entity is actually based on this model, right? This model. Cost, you can name it cost also can. Cost. So this is the entity that you want to store into the database, costs. So this is the model, data model. So you just create it by using that reference to the database, real-time database. Right, and then add a listener. When button is clicked, right? Click listener, button is clicked, you capture the records, right? Just now in the app. Click, right? You capture these values from the client. So this value, you get it from the edit text. And then after that, you use the same reference. This reference is already created and linked to this node. A node, we call it a node. In this case, this node represents an entity. The table. In relational, we call it table. And here is an entity. Right? And then we add child to it. Child. So add value listener and then create a value listener. This is add value listener to insert data into the database. So this is a callback. Once you inserted, you return a snapshot. Snapshot meaning the current status of the database, the table, so-called the data that is already inserted. So you return in the callback method on data change, on data change. So what you do is when you receive this snapshot, the current snapshot is actually current point here. Now when you first add courses is here, actually it's here. This is the current snapshot at that point in time, courses. Then you add the value into your snapshot, right? So using the database reference, database reference dot child. So we add a child to it. SWE401 is a first child. So when you call that method add child, actually we create a new node under this parent courses, right? So you can see the child is created, right? The child is created based on the course ID. So you create a new course ID. Let me see here. So the course ID, we set the value, that course ID with all the data properties of this model, right? Course name, description. You can create a data model, a class that have all the property. In this case, 6 properties, right? So all these 6 will be inserted into the database side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? So this is added to the server side using this child. So it's based on unique ID and then set the value. The values is a class, right? All the property of the class, right? So once you do this set value, the value will be added. The entire class will be added. So it's unique by the course ID. That cost ID, we use the name of the cost, right, to be the cost ID. So that cost ID is actually this one. Cost name is actually cost ID. Whatever we type in, right, will be the primary key, the key for the cost. Right. In this case, this cost ID will be the key here. This one. Of course, on the server side, you can also edit, you can also delete. So, but we are going to we actually use a mobile app to do the editing, deleting, and so on. Right. So this is to add. Right. If the user actually change, submit, right, you return a data snapshot. So in that snapshot, right, so we based on that snapshot, that node that is returned when we add the value, the first node is actually the one that you add here. Courses, and then you add the child node to it. On cancelled, if this is on data change, on cancel, if it is cancelled, then you show some message. Right. So what about edit? Let's say edit cost. Edit, you need to pass in the ID. For example, in this app, we edit. We also have edit. You click on one of them, right? Edit cost. Let's say I click on this button. You bring out the edit activity. So the form will be pre-filled with the values from the database. Depending on which node that you select. Right? So the code for the edit will be right edit. So when you click the button, right, then this app is being bring up, right? So that is on create, right? This activity, edit cost activity. First, it is being created. So you want to prefill the form. Again, you need to refer to these two. First of all, you need to get a handler, a variable that refer to this Firebase database. And then we need to get a reference to that database. Right, so same thing, we get the instance of the database, and then we get, okay, in this case, you want to link. So we are trying to get a passable extra, meaning we want to serialize the cost, right? The cost structure, this cost, right here, this one. So serialize it. And then here, okay, these are some pre-processing, right? Set the text and so on. We want to prefill, right? Prefill the edit text with the value from the model. So basically, we try to extract the model, create the model back from the data on the server side. This one, we serialize it using the parcel, and then we create back the model, right? That model object. So using this get parcelable extra. When we click the edit cost button just now, we actually pass just now, right? When we click this button, right? We actually pass the ID to this, the cost to this, pass an extra to that, right? That is on the, if not mistaken, is on the main activity. Let me check the button here, edit button. Edit button, we have a listener. So when you click that button, we actually pass in a extra. The intent, we pass in extra. So that extra will actually we use a key. The key is cost, right? This key is the one that we access on the target here. Cost. So that extra we pass in from main activity. Then we pass in the model. The model is basically the entire object, right? That have all the values. We create a model from there, and then we pass the model to the string edit activity. So edit cost activity. On the cost activity, we unpack, right, the object, and then we extract one by one from the model the properties value, right, the value one by one, right, and then we assign it to this edit text. So it will be prefill, right, prefill. So the click on this will pass an extra to this string, and then you preview the string with all the value here. All right. So here we want to change the value on the server side, right? The server side, again, we get reference. Remember, always the same process. When you get a reference to the database, then you get a reference to the node, right? Using the database object, we get a reference to the node, right? In this case, the node must match what you want to search for in the server side. In this case, the spelling is courses, capital letter and S, capital C and then courses. So you want to access that courses as the point in the node, a node on the tree. So we access it, and then we get the child, right? We get the child based on the course ID. Course ID. Course ID is actually the name of the course. You can see the model here. The course ID is a string, string. So based on that, when we edit, right? So we set. I think this is not add course. It should be edit course button. This one shouldn't. I think the name wrongly. So it should be add course button. Let me see. Oh, add course button, right? Actually, it's edit course button. It should be edit course button, right? On this, it's actually this button. Update your course. This button, right? We can delete also. We can update. So let's say this button is click update your course, which is the add course button. In this case, then what we do is when it is clicked, right? Then we basically just get the value, the updated value from the edit text, right? Somebody have key in something. Then we create a map, hash map, right? Hash map basically is a set of key value pair put together that match our database structure. This key value pair, we create a local data structure, hash map, locally, right? Hash map, right? With the same property value that we store in the database. And then we add the add value again. We just basically update it, update the node, right? So similar to just now, add the node, add value listener. Just now, right? Add value listen, add value event listener. Edit text also use the add value event listener, right? So again, you call back method on data change. So what we do, we update. Instead of we add a new one, just now add is we use this to set value. If you set value with a model, you set a new record. But here we update the child, right? In this case, we update the child, update children. And then we pass in the map with a set of property into that children, right? That is already referred to, right? The refer to is here, from here. Reference. So it is actually refer to the courses with that specific course ID. That specific course is the one selected by user in this example, SWE402. So it try to map the program actually map, try to look for that course ID on the server side, which is this one, SWE402. If map the course ID, and then you try to recreate the node. Basically, recreate the node here, right? And update that node with the map data, the hash map data, which is this. And then finally, you update to the server side, and then you can print a message, and then finally, you can also redirect the user back to the main activity. So this is the logic, program logic to add, to update. If you want to delete, right, delete. Basically, delete is quite easy. Just get the reference to the database and call the remove value function. When you say remove value, sorry, I have a call. Give me a while to answer the call. Okay, sorry. Okay. So to remove that specific value, specific record, just call the remove value function. This is a API function under the database, real-time database. You remove it. Right? Basically, that's all. The concept is similar. Just if you want to do CRUD, basically edit, delete, and add. Right? And view. View, for example, how to list it. Right? You want to list it on the recycler view, for example, here. Right? How to list it out. Right? This is to read the data. Read the data from the server side. How to look through these records, right, on the server side. So you can check the code for main activity. Main activity. Let's say main activity we have all right, we created adapter. If you want to load, you want to populate a recycler view, you know that you need to extend the recycler view adapter. So recycler view adapter, so all this we learned before. You should know how to do this. So in the main activity, what that you need to code is actually again the reference, the database reference, right? Again, the Firebase database get a reference to the Firebase database, right? You get the instance to the table, the entity, right? The causes in this case in the database, and then we over here get causes. So this is the part, right? We create a local array, right? Local array list to populate the value from the server side. So what we do is write a function, get causes, or you can write here, right? When the activity is on created. So what you do is you clear the array list first, and then after that again, is the listener function. Add child event listener, right? Add child event listener. So this callback method is on child added, right? So this is to add. So what is to, let me check. This is get causes. Let me see. Get causes. Yes, should be this one. Add causes. Get causes. Right, on child aided. So there are 4 callback. You can look at the here. Retrieve list of item. Right. So retrieve the list. The callback method is on child aided. So it'll pass you the snapshot again. Right, data snapshot from the database, and also something like previous child name, right? So basically what you need to do is basically you get a snapshot. I use the snapshot object, snapshot.getValue, right? So the values that you get from the server side one by one, right? You have 1 snapshot, in this case 2 snapshot. So this callback method will handle it for you. What you need to do is basically just use the array list. You add it to a array list, and then you get the value, right? The snapshot will get the value for you. So the value will follow a class, your model cost model class, right? And then after that, you notify your recycler view to update. So this is the function. Quite straightforward, right? You just need to use a snapshot to get the value. So you'll get the snapshot of all the values. On child change, okay, this is only when there's a change on the recycler view, then you also the database also you trigger your recycler view to update. And on child remove, same thing, right? And on child move also same thing. In case you update the recycler view, so you add in all this callback, right? So these are the 4 callback you need to override when you want to actually update the UI for the recycler view. And I think the rest is not relevant, not directly relevant. You can check the code. You can refer to this code to see how to do all these CRUD function, right, in an app. In an app. Okay, so I think that's all for today. So any question? Well, I think it's a bit hard to. I give you the idea. You explore it using more example. You can look for more example online, or you can also follow this example. You can try out this example and look for the code, right? Specific code that actually perform the operation on the Firebase database. So always refer to the documentation, real-time database. There is documentation, real-time database, right? Documentation on how to code, right? Basically, let's say you look for Android, setup here. Now this is a real-time database documentation. Refer to it. And then installation setup, right? I already mentioned to you how to set up, right? You can go to the console, add project, and then you can link it to the project using the Google services.json, right? Add the real-time database to your server side, which is here, right? You can add a new database to your server side, real-time database. And then from there, you set up your database in test mode or log mode. For us, we use a test mode, right? So you can set the rule for your database, right, to be publicly accessible or accessible until certain date, right? Like just now the rule here, right? Accessible until 1 month from now. These are the rules, right? And then, sorry. And then we can do the dependency installation, right? Dependencies, add the dependencies, add the rule, and then these are the code, right? Set value is to add a new node to your, let's say you can add get reference, meaning you create a node and then you set the value to the node. Message is the key, and then the value is this, right? If you add a model, you create a data model, then you add the entire set of properties into the node, right? Like just now here, right? If you add a model, so you add the entire set of properties with key value pay to the node. So that is how you do it. Set value, right? And then read from database, right? As I said just now, the callback method on data change. So you get a snapshot, right? So you use get value, and then that data class, right? You get the data class, so you can get the entire object with the properties from the database. So this is different from using SQL. This is no SQL, right? No SQL way of storing and reading data. So you can refer to the documentation here. Structure your data, read and write data, work with a list of data like the recycler view, which is this one, right? List of data like just now, right? You want to get the reference, and then after that, you get the list. So when you want to get the list, you want to add a child event listener, and you have to override this for event listener, event callback method on child added, on child change, on child remove, and on child move, which is in the code here, sample, you can see. On child added, on child change, on child remove, and on child move, right? Which is documented here, right? Inside the documentation. So there is sample code for you to refer to. All this, if you want to use Firebase, you must follow the Firebase documentation. Otherwise, it wouldn't work. But you have a working sample that you can refer to here, right? Okay, So any question for this? So that will conclude our class for this semester over the 14 weeks, right? And then there are additional topics that we can't cover everything in just these 14 weeks. So I encourage you to pick up here and there those that you need to do your assignment. So if you have any query, you can always ask me again. You can inquire me. I don't claim that I know everything, but I can help you. I try to find relevant references, resources for you if you have any question, right? So any question you want to ask about Firebase? Any question you want to ask about this project, this afternoon's project? Firebase, authentication and real-time database. I think these two features, right, are good enough for you to do your assignment. Database, real-time database, and also the authentication feature. These two features are good enough for you to do your project. There are other many features in under Firebase that might not be directly relevant, but if you want, you can explore, right? You can explore yourself, right, on those features. Now, for example, just now, Okay, sorry. Firebase Firestore. This is a newer database, Firestore database. I haven't tried also. Firestore database. They have app check, authentication we did already, extension, storage, hosting, and so on and so forth, machine learning. But more relevant for our case will be real-time database and also authentication. Right, these two are good enough for you to use it for your project. These two. Right, there are other features, other services, and even analytics also. If you want to add analytics to your app, right, and then you want to connect to the server side, dashboard, and so on, and cloud messaging, so on and so forth. Right, but not so related to our project. Right, so for the rest of the time, then I'll let you do your project. If you have any question, you can always ask me. So we'll still be here until around 6. So you can do your project. Have any query, you can ask me. All right. So about the project, about the assignment, and also about the presentation next week. Just remind you again, presentation next week is on Thursday afternoon, 2 p.m. We start at 2. Right? So we don't have class on Monday, next Monday. Right? Thank you. So you can have a break, a short break, or you want to do your project, as up to you. So we'll be here until 6, until the class end. Right? Thank you.